At daybreak, not a single person in the village had fallen asleep. Everyone leaned near the stone tablet, their faces carrying exhaustion and fear that had not yet faded. The second night had been shorter than the first, but it had also been far more dangerous. After the wasteland corpse corporal fell, the ordinary wasteland corpses and wasteland wolves seemed to be suppressed by the protection of the stone tablet, and they did not continue approaching. But that ancient horn in the distance unsettled everyone far more than any monster could. It was not a danger that was currently biting at them. It was something deeper, farther away, and far more enormous that had finally become aware of their existence. Lin Yao sat beside the stone tablet, his shoulder and arms wrapped in cloth strips. Zhao Tai's chest was bandaged as well. Gao Mu was in the worst condition. Last night, he had forcefully killed the wasteland corpse corporal, and his old wounds had torn open again. If the dark spring water had not suppressed the death aura, he probably would have already passed out. Xingye had been busy for the entire night. Her small face was pale, but her eyes were frighteningly bright. For the first time, she had truly saved people. And not just one. Xingye herself might not yet have realized it, but the spirit planter potential within her had already begun to awaken. Lin Yao checked her information. Xingye. Potential, spirit planter. Current state, healing experience increased, medicinal herb affinity improved. Available development directions, herb sorting, dark spring irrigation, low-level spirit plant cultivation. Lin Yao made a mental note of it. After water, food, defense, combat-capable units, and the stone tablet had all reached standard, the next step would be construction. And Xingye might very likely become the territory's first core talent in a non-military direction. At that moment, the system prompt finally rang out. Lord Mainline Mission, establish a village within 7 days. All requirements have been completed. Please formally name your territory. All the refugees looked toward Lin Yao. Although they could not see the system prompt, the light on the stone tablet was slowly gathering. An invisible feeling told them that this ruined settlement was about to undergo some kind of change. Uncle Zhou asked in a low voice, "Lord, is it time to give the village a name?" Lin Yao stood. He looked around. The 3 broken wooden houses were still broken. The defensive line was still crude. Food was still tight. The injured were still groaning. This place was far from safe, much less prosperous. But it had survived. It had changed from a ruined refugee settlement with no water, no defense, and no order into a place that truly had a core, rules, and hope. Lin Yao looked at the black stones scattered across the wasteland. He also looked at the broken war banner before the stone tablet. Obsidian iron. War souls. The Blackstone wasteland. The roots of this village had been buried in this black land from the very beginning. Obsidian Village. Lin Yao said it. His voice was not loud, but it was very clear. From today on, this place is called Obsidian Village. The moment his words fell, the light on the Lord Stone tablet suddenly blazed. Black-red patterns spread from the bottom of the stone tablet to the top. The originally battered stone tablet became much more complete, and 3 ancient, simple characters appeared on its surface. Obsidian Village. A system announcement unfolded in Lin Yao's vision. Territory naming complete. Unnamed ruined village has formally advanced into a level 1 village, Obsidian Village. Lord Mainline Mission 1, establish a village within 7 days, completed. Mission rating, excellent. Completion time, 2 days. Additional conditions achieved: War Soul Repair, Special Talent Recruitment, Hidden Water Source Activation, Regional Main Storyline triggered. Mission rewards are being issued. You have obtained Beginner Lord Chest. You have obtained Formal Territory Authority. You have obtained Civilization Compatibility Test Qualification. You have obtained Special Reward,
War Soul Protection Enhancement.
At the same time, a faint light appeared on every villager.
They did not understand what it was,
but they could feel their exhaustion ease slightly, and the fear that had been pressing down on their hearts through the night also scattered quite a bit.
Uncle Joe was so excited that he knelt down.
The stone tablet really recovered. Zhao Tai looked at the name on the stone tablet and grinned.
Obsidian Village. Sounds pretty decent.
Shang stood behind the crowd, his eyes shining. Xingye carefully touched the black patterns beside the stone tablet, as if she were touching some kind of future. Gaomu sat in front of the wooden house and looked at the broken war banner that had been raised again. There was no joy in his expression. There was more of a heaviness.
Lin Yao noticed this and walked to his side. You remembered more?
Gaomu was silent for a moment, then nodded.
A little. About that horn? Gaomu's face darkened. Deep in the Blackstone wasteland, there once stood a military stockade. The Trap Formation Army made its final stand there.
The mustering horn last night should have come from the direction of that stockade. A mission prompt immediately jumped out before Lin Yao's eyes. Regional main storyline, the undead of the Blackstone Wasteland.
Second stage clue has been unlocked. Target location, Lost Military Stockade. Recommended territory level, level 1 village or above. Recommended troop strength, at least 10 formal combat units.
Lin Yao looked at the recommended troop strength, and his brows furrowed slightly.
At least 10 formal combat units. Obsidian Village currently had only 5 temporary combat-capable units.
That number included Gaomu, a heavily wounded instructor, and Shang, a scout apprentice.
The gap was huge.
So they could not go in the short term. At least, they could not force their way in. Just then, a friend message from Chen Hao suddenly popped up.
Chen Hao, brother. Are you still alive?
Only then did Lin Yao remember that he had barely replied to Chen Hao since entering the game.
He opened the friend channel. Alive.
Chen Hao's voice came through immediately, carrying excitement and exhaustion.
Damn. You finally replied. I fought the entire night over here. The Three Kingdoms border camp was attacked by Yellow Turban bandits. The newbie mission nearly flipped over. How is it on your side? Is the Lord Path torture?
Lin Yao looked at Obsidian Village.
Not bad. I just built the village. Chen Hao went silent for 2 seconds. What do you mean, you just built the village? I completed the Lord Mainline mission. Establish a village within 7 days? Yes.
There was a sharp intake of breath from Chen Hao's side.
Are you kidding me? The Lord forums are exploding. A bunch of people collapsed on the first day.
Some people are saying establish a village within 7 days is not a mission ordinary players can complete at all.
What day did you finish it? The second day. The friend channel went quiet. After several seconds, Chen Hao said faintly, Brother, did you secretly pay money behind my back?
Lin Yao could not help smiling.
Even my equipment was rented by you. Then how did you do it?
Lin Yao briefly explained some of it, concealing the core of civilization analysis. He only said that his luck had been good, and he had found a water source and special materials. After Chen Hao listened, his tone became serious.
Do not trust luck too much. What happened? Something happened on my side too.
Lin Yao's gaze sharpened.
What?
Chen Hao lowered his voice. When the Yellow Turban bandits attacked the camp last night, one player was killed.
Died in the game?
Yes. But the problem is, after he logged out, he did not wake up.
Lin Yao fell silent.
Chen Hao continued, the official forum deleted the post very quickly, but someone took screenshots.
That player was sent to the hospital in reality. They said he was in a deep coma, cause unknown. Lin Yao remembered how the system had answered his earlier question. Early-stage death would bring penalties such as level loss, equipment drops, and mental fatigue. Mental fatigue. If it became more severe, would that become a coma? Chen Hao's voice became even lower. I feel like this game is not right. Lin Yao looked at the wound on his arm. It was a claw wound from a wasteland wolf in the game. In theory, it should not exist after logging out. But he had not logged out yet, so he did not know whether his real body would react. Do not take random risks for now, Lin Yao said. Chen Hao gave a bitter laugh. Too late. What do you mean? I took a Three Kingdoms border mission. Originally, it was just to scout the remnants of the Yellow Turbans. Then the mission mutated. Now our team is trapped in a place called Broken Temple Village, and the surrounding area is full of Yellow Turban remnants. Lin Yao frowned. You cannot quit? Chen Hao was silent for a moment. I can log out. But the mission prompt says that if we abandon it, all the NPCs in Broken Temple Village will be slaughtered. And I always feel like those NPCs are too real. Lin Yao did not speak immediately. He looked toward the villagers of Obsidian Village. Uncle Zhou, Zhao Tai, Shisheng, Xingya, Lu Chang, Gao Mu. He understood Chen Hao's feeling. These people did not seem like data. If he were asked to abandon Obsidian Village now and watch these people be eaten by monsters, he also could not remain completely unmoved. Chen Hao said in a low voice, Lin Yao, I am not some saint, but there are children in that village. Lin Yao asked, how much time does the mission have left? Before nightfall tomorrow, the Yellow Turban remnants will launch their formal attack. How many people do you have? 6 players, more than 30 NPC villagers, fewer than 10 who can fight. Lin Yao glanced at his own side's condition. Obsidian Village had just completed its mainline mission. There were many wounded, and resources were scarce. Rationally speaking, he should not send people out. But Chen Hao was his closest friend. More importantly, the Three Kingdoms border and Yellow Turban remnants were very likely connected to Huaxia civilization fragments. Lin Yao opened the mission panel. As expected, a new prompt appeared. Civilization side story clue has appeared. Keywords, Yellow Turban remnants, Broken Temple Village, Taiping Dao fragment scroll. This side story may affect territory public sentiment, medical care, and faith system development. Lin Yao's gaze shifted slightly. Taiping Dao fragment scroll. This might be exactly what Obsidian Village lacked most in the next stage. Medical care. Public sentiment. Faith. He said to Chen Hao, send me your location. Chen Hao froze. You are coming? I may not be able to arrive immediately, but I will check the distance first. Soon, map coordinates were shared. Lin Yao looked at them. The distance from Obsidian Village was not close. But it was not completely impossible to reach. Between them lay the eastern edge of the Blackstone Wasteland and a stretch of wasteland road along the Three Kingdoms border. A system prompt jumped out. Accept civilization side mission, Broken Temple Village request for aid? Mission description, your friend Chen Hao is trapped by Yellow Turban remnants in Broken Temple Village on the Three Kingdoms border. You may choose to send aid, or abandon this clue. Mission reward, unknown. Failure risk, dispatched units may die. Lin Yao did not accept immediately. He first looked toward Gao Mu. If I send a small team out of the village tomorrow, can the village hold? Gao Mu frowned. Where are you going? The Three Kingdoms border. To rescue people. Gao Mu was silent for a moment. The village is too weak right now. Lin Yao nodded. so I am asking whether it can. Gao Mu looked at him.
If you only send 2 or 3 people, the village can hold.
But the people who go out will face great danger. Lin Yao asked again, can you travel? Qinya immediately became anxious. Uncle Gao cannot go. Gao Mu also fell silent.
His injuries were indeed not suited for a long journey.
Lin Yao quickly made his judgment. Gao Mu could not go. Zhao Tai could go.
Shi Sheng could go. He himself had to go as well.
Because the civilization side story required his judgment. The village would be left to Gao Mu, Lu Cheng, Uncle Zhou, and Qinya.
This was risky.
But territory development could not forever shrink inside the village.
Obsidian Village had already been formally established.
The next step had to be contact with external resources and civilization plots. Lin Yao accepted the mission.
You have accepted civilization side mission, Broken Temple Village request for aid.
Mission time limit, before nightfall tomorrow. Hint, this mission will be your first external event after leaving the territory.
Lin Yao looked at the newly named Obsidian Village. This village was still very weak. So weak that a strong wind might scatter it apart.
But if it did not move outward, it would forever be trapped in one corner of the Blackstone wasteland. He turned and gave the order. Rest during the day. Tomorrow morning, I will take people to the 3 kingdoms border.
Zhao Tai had just taken a sip of water and almost spat it out.
What? Lin Yao looked at him. You are coming with me.
Zhao Tai pointed at the wound on his chest.
I was just injured.
That is why you get 2 extra mouthfuls of meat tonight.
Zhao Tai opened his mouth.
In the end, he forced out one sentence. Lord, you really know how to use people.
Lin Yao said calmly, because there are too few people I can use. For a moment, everyone was speechless.
Obsidian Village's first battle for survival inside the village had only just ended. And the first expedition outside the village had already been placed before Lin Yao. Before the expedition, Lin Yao had to sort through the rewards first. After the Establish a Village Within 7 Days mission was completed, the system had issued a beginner lord chest and a civilization compatibility test qualification. These 2 things would very likely determine the next development direction of Obsidian Village. Lin Yao did not open the chest in front of all the villagers. He walked behind the Lord's stone tablet, confirmed that no one was nearby, and only then opened the system inventory. Beginner Lord Chest. Description: Basic reward obtained after completing Lord Mainline Mission 1.
Depending on mission rating, there is a chance to open higher quality items. Open? Lin Yao chose to open it.
The chest transformed into a ray of light, and several items appeared on the panel.
You have obtained Basic Residence Blueprint. You have obtained Simple Wooden Wall Blueprint. You have obtained Beginner Grain Seed Pack. You have obtained 1 Citizen Recruitment Token. Excellent Rating Extra Reward, Low-Level Barracks Blueprint. Hidden Repair Extra Reward, War Soul Altar Fragment Blueprint 1.
Lin Yao's gaze stopped on the final 2 items.
Low-Level Barracks Blueprint. War Soul Altar Fragment Blueprint.
These 2 things were far too important for Obsidian Village.
The low-level barracks could transform temporary combat-capable units into formal soldiers, satisfying the troop requirements for future regional missions.
The War Soul Altar Fragment Blueprint was clearly a key to the hidden route of the Blackstone Wasteland.
Lin Yao checked the details. Low-level barracks blueprint. Effect: after construction, basic militia can be trained.
Requirements: wood, stone, iron tools, training instructor. Special hint: if Obsidian or War Soul Remnant Breath and Trap Formation Army Inheritance are used as core materials, it may be modified into a special building, Trap Formation Camp Prototype.
As expected. Lin Yao's eyes brightened faintly. Before, it had only been a clue. Now, he had a real blueprint. The low-level barracks could follow the ordinary route, or it could follow the hidden war soul route. If it were any other lord, they might choose the ordinary barracks. Cheap, fast, stable. But Lin Yao knew very clearly that Obsidian Village's advantage did not lie in ordinary development. The resource system of the Blackstone Wasteland was naturally suited to the war soul route. An ordinary militia camp could solve short-term troop strength. The trap formation camp prototype might become the true core competitiveness of Obsidian Village. He then checked the War Soul Altar Fragment Blueprint. War Soul Altar Fragment Blueprint 1. Type: Special Civilization Building Fragment. Current integrity: 1/3. After gathering 3 pieces, a low-level War Soul altar can be constructed. Effect unknown. Hint: this building is related to the ancient battlefield, purification of dead souls, troop advancement, and heroic spirit summoning. Heroic spirit summoning. Lin Yao's gaze sharpened. The weight of those 4 words was very heavy. Although it was currently only one fragment, it represented a future in which Obsidian Village might move beyond simply training soldiers and begin recruiting heroic spirits and inheriting the legacy of the ancient battlefield. This line had to be pushed forward as a priority. Next was the Civilization Compatibility Test. Proceed with Civilization Compatibility Test? Lin Yao chose yes. In the next second, the Lord Stone tablet trembled faintly. A light screen that only he could see appeared. Civilization Compatibility Test in progress. Testing player experiences, establish a village within 7 days, War Soul Repair, Earth Vein Darkspring Activation, Lost War Banner Trigger, Wasteland Corpse Corporal Kill. Testing territory environment, Blackstone Wasteland, Ancient Battlefield Core Fragment, Obsidian Ore, Earth Vein Darkspring, War Soul Protection. Civilization Compatibility Result generated. Primary Civilization Compatibility, Huaxia War Soul System. Secondary Civilization Compatibility, Territory Management System, Public Sentiment and Faith System. Potential branches, 3 Kingdoms Troop Types, Ancient Battlefield Heroic Spirits, Taiping Dao Public Sentiment, Border Army Stockades, Investiture Incense Faith. After Lin Yao finished reading, he basically had a direction in mind. Huaxia War Soul System was the main line. This meant Obsidian Village was most suited to developing military formations, war souls, heroic spirits, and troop inheritances. But among the secondary compatibilities was the Public Sentiment and Faith System. This aligned perfectly with the upcoming Broken Temple Village, the Yellow Turban remnants, and the Taiping Dao Fragment Scroll. If he could obtain a Taiping Dao-related inheritance, Obsidian Village could make up for its non-military weaknesses. Medical care. Public sentiment. Faith. Order. A territory could not have only soldiers. A place with only soldiers was a military stockade, not a civilization. Lin Yao closed the panel and began arranging the priorities for territory construction. First, the simple wooden wall. Second, the basic residences. Third, the low-level barracks. Fourth, trial planting with the grain seed pack. But because he would be leaving the village tomorrow, all of these could not begin at the same time. He called Lu Cheng over. Can you understand these 2 blueprints? Lu Cheng received the blueprints. In his eyes, they were not system items, but clear construction drawings. He looked at them for a long time, and his eyes grew brighter and brighter. I can. Which should be built first? Lu Cheng thought for a moment. The wooden wall. Reason? If the houses are a little broken, people can still live in them. Without a wall, we still have to block the night with our lives. Lin Yao nodded. His judgment was the same as Lin Yao's own. Build the wooden wall on the north and east first. It does not need to surround everything completely.
Protect the stone tablet and the well first.
Lu Chang nodded. We need hands. Uncle Zhou will arrange them.
Then Lin Yao handed the beginner grain seed pack to Qinya. Qinya received the small cloth bag with both hands, carefully, as if she were holding some kind of treasure.
Lord, what is this? Grain seeds. Xinya's eyes lit up.
But they soon dimmed again.
But the wasteland soil is very hard. People tried before, and nothing survived.
Lin Yao pointed toward the earth vein dark spring.
If ordinary land does not work, then try using dark spring water.
He added, do not plant too much. First, find a small plot for testing.
Qinya nodded hard.
I will take good care of it.
Civilization analysis appeared on her again.
Qinya has obtained beginner grain seeds. Spirit planter potential trigger conditions, dark spring irrigation, low-level grain seed cultivation.
Suggestion, establish a small experimental field. Lin Yao made a note of it.
This might become Obsidian Village's first agricultural construction.
After that, he found Gao Mu. Gao Mu was wiping his blade.
The blade was still rusted, and there was even a nick in the edge. But in his hands, it still had a quality that made people feel at ease.
Lin Yao showed him the low-level barracks blueprint.
After Gao Mu finished reading it, he was silent for a very long time.
This is an ordinary barracks. But it can be modified. Gao Mu raised his head and looked at him.
Lin Yao said, using Obsidian or War Soul Remnant Breath, and the Trap Formation Army Inheritance, it can be modified into the Trap Formation Camp prototype.
Gao Mu's hand tightened faintly on the blade. Lord wants to rebuild Trap Formation? Not rebuild the one from the past. Lin Yao looked at him.
Build the trap formation that belongs to Obsidian Village.
Gao Mu fell silent.
That sentence was clearly very heavy to him. After a long while, he finally said, the words trap formation are not something anyone can bear.
Lin Yao nodded. That is why there is no rush. When you think they are qualified, then we begin.
Gao Mu looked toward Zhao Tai and the others moving wood in the distance.
They are still far from enough. I know.
But at least they did not run last night.
Gao Mu did not refute that.
That was the first qualification of recruits.
Not strength. Not running.
Just then, a world announcement suddenly jumped out from the system.
Huaxia region announcement. A player has completed Lord Mainline Mission 1 and formally established an initial village.
Lord system ranking has opened. Currently only the regional top 10 are displayed.
Exact coordinates are not disclosed.
A ranking appeared before Lin Yao's eyes.
Huaxia Lord Initial Village Establishment Ranking.
First place, Anonymous, Level 1 Village, completion time, 2 days. Second place, Shenzhou, Level 1 Village, completion time, 2 days 13 hours. Third place, Xin Shaoling, Level 1 Village, completion time, 2 days 19 hours. Fourth place, Dragon Court Guild, Shui, Level 1 Village, completion time, 3 days.
The moment the ranking appeared, the world channel exploded. Holy crap! Built a village in 2 days? Is that real? Wasn't the Lord Mainline 7 days? How did someone finish in 2? First place is anonymous.
Definitely a core member of some financial group.
Shen Qianzhou? Is that the young master from the Shen family? Qin Shaoling is from the Qin family, right?
I heard he has an ancient martial background in reality.
Dragon Court Guild is on the list too. No surprise there. Who exactly is first place? Lin Yao looked at the anonymous first place and let out a slight breath.
The system had given anonymous protection by default. Otherwise, Obsidian Village would already be watched by a massive number of players.
But he also knew this protection would not last forever. Completion time, village type, regional reputation. Sooner or later, clues would be exposed. Especially in a special region like the Blackstone Wasteland. He closed the ranking, but noticed a strange shout coming through the friend channel from Chen Hao.
Lin Yao.
Did you see the ranking?
I saw it.
First place is you, right?
Why do you say that?
Because I do not believe there is a second ordinary person who can build a village in 2 days and just told me, I just built it.
Lin Yao did not admit it. But he did not deny it either.
Chen Hao was silent for several seconds.
His voice suddenly became excited.
Damn, my best friend is actually number 1 on the Lord ranking. Anonymous. I get it. I get it. Keep a low profile.
Chen Hao's voice soon lowered again.
Then are you still coming tomorrow? You are on the ranking now. You probably have a lot to handle, right?
Lin Yao looked toward Obsidian Village. There was indeed a lot to handle. Wooden wall, residences, barracks, experimental field, stone tablet, regional main storyline.
But he still answered, I am coming.
Chen Hao's side went quiet for a moment.
Thanks. Do not thank me yet. Whether I can save anyone is still uncertain. At least you are willing to come.
Lin Yao closed the friend channel.
He looked at the sunset gradually sinking in the distance.
Tomorrow, he would leave Obsidian Village for the first time. And this newly established village would, for the first time, face the Blackstone Wasteland without him.
For him and for Obsidian Village, this would be a test. The expedition team was ultimately set at 3 people. Lin Yao, Zhao Tai, Shi Shang. This configuration was thin.
So thin that Gao Mu's face immediately sank after hearing it.
Too few. Lin Yao said, the village cannot be emptied. Gao Mu frowned. You can take young man A.
His leg injury has not fully healed.
Young man B? He was clawed last night. Although the death aura has been suppressed, he cannot travel far. Gao Mu fell silent.
Obsidian Village had too few people.
That was an unchangeable weakness.
Even though it was now a formal village, the population was still only 10.
There were even fewer people who could truly fight.
Send too many, and the village could not hold.
Send too few, and the people going out would face danger.
Every deployment a lord made was like exchanging risk on one side for risk on the other.
Gao Mu looked at Zhao Tai. On the road, listen to the lord's orders. Zhao Tai curled his lip. It's not like I don't listen.
Gao Mu said coldly, you have a habit of thinking yourself clever.
Zhao Tai's face darkened. Old Gao, do you always talk this hurtfully? I used to be worse.
Zhao Tai was momentarily speechless. Shi Shang stood beside them, carrying a small cloth bundle on his back. Inside were dry rations, rope, short wooden spikes, a fire striker, and a little blood-stopping grass. This was his first time leaving the village to carry out a mission. His face held nervousness, but also a little anticipation that he could not fully suppress.
Lin Yao looked at him. This time, you are not the main fighter.
Shi Shang immediately nodded.
I know. I am responsible for scouting the road. There is one more thing.
What?
When you see danger, report first. Do not try to show off. Shi Shang said seriously, yes, Lord.
Zhao Tai muttered from the side, why are you so gentle with him, but with me it is always go smash the knee, go hold the opening, come with me.
Lin Yao looked at him. Because you are more durable when smashed. Zhao Tai opened his mouth.
In the end, he realized he had no way to refute it.
Before the expedition, Lin Yao arranged the village's work clearly. Lu Chang would be responsible for wooden wall construction. Uncle Joe would be responsible for food distribution and labor coordination. Qinya would be responsible for the injured and the experimental field. Gao Mu would be responsible for defense and training.
If small-scale harassment appeared at night, they would shrink their defense around the stone tablet and were not allowed to pursue. If any undead creature stronger than a wasteland corpse corporal appeared, they would immediately abandon the outer defensive line, and everyone would retreat into the protection range of the stone tablet.
If players approached, they were not to reveal Lin Yao's whereabouts.
They would only say the Lord was in seclusion handling matters related to the stone tablet. When Uncle Joe heard the last instruction, he froze for a moment.
Players will come too? Lin Yao looked into the distance.
They will. After the ranking opened, the Blackstone Wasteland would soon be re-evaluated. Before, everyone had considered this place a useless map. But if someone discovered that the number 1 player's territory might be in the Blackstone Wasteland, those players, financial groups, and guilds would come sooner or later.
It was only a matter of time. Gao Mu understood this as well. If someone forces their way in?
Lin Yao was silent for a moment.
Warn them first.
And if warning fails?
Lin Yao looked at Gao Mu. Obsidian Village is not ownerless land.
Gao Mu understood.
He nodded. I will hold it.
Lin Yao did not say thank you. Between a lord and a defender, some words did not need to be spoken. Before departure, Qinya ran over. She handed a small cloth bundle to Lin Yao. Lord, this is blood-stopping grass and bitter smoke grass.
I separated them properly.
Lin Yao took it.
Thank you.
Qinya lowered her head a little shyly.
I can do too little right now.
Lin Yao said, if you can save people, it is not little. Qinya raised her head. Lin Yao looked toward the small experimental field that had just been opened. When I come back, I hope to see the first batch of grain seeds sprouting.
Qinya nodded hard. They definitely will.
Gao Mu then handed his rusted long blade to Zhao Tai.
Zhao Tai froze. For me?
Borrowed. Zhao Tai took the blade, and his expression immediately became much more serious. This blade was not good. But it was far better than a wood-cutting blade or wooden spear.
More importantly, it was Gao Mu's blade. Do not lose it, Gao Mu said.
For once, Zhao Tai did not grin or joke.
As long as I am alive, the blade is alive.
Gao Mu said coldly, the blade is worth more than you. The little bit of emotion Zhao Tai had just felt vanished instantly. Lin Yao could not help smiling. This atmosphere was good. At least it meant Obsidian Village was no longer a temporary group of strange refugees thrown together while fleeing. They had begun to form relationships. Roles. A shared consciousness of holding a place together. They were still very weak, but this was the true beginning of a territory. When the three left Obsidian Village, the sun had just risen. The Blackstone Wasteland was still bleak during the day, but it was much safer than at night. Shi Shang walked at the very front, responsible for observing traces on the ground.
Zhao Tai carried the blade and walked at the rear side. Lin Yao stayed in the middle.
As he traveled, he checked the Civilization Side mission.
Civilization Side mission, Broken Temple Village request for aid. Mission location, Three Kingdoms border, Broken Temple Village. Mission time limit, before nightfall today.
Mission objective, assist Broken Temple Village in resisting the Yellow Turban remnant attack, protect key NPC survival.
Hidden objective, obtain clues to the Typing Dao fragment scroll.
Hint, this mission will affect your first contact with Three Kingdoms civilization fragments.
Key NPC. Lin Yao noticed that term.
In other words, there was a special person in Broken Temple Village.
Perhaps a physician. Perhaps a Taiping Dao inheritor.
Perhaps someone who possessed the fragment scroll. That person had to survive. After they walked out of the core region of the Blackstone Wasteland, the terrain gradually changed. There were fewer black stones. There was more withered yellow grass. In the distance, they could even see a few low woods.
The system map showed that they were approaching the Three Kingdoms border region. There were more players here than in the Blackstone Wasteland.
Before long, they encountered their first team of players.
3 men and 1 woman, all on the hero path.
2 of them held short swords, 1 carried a bow, and the female player wore a crude cloth robe, looking like she followed a warlock or physician route. When they saw Lin Yao's group of 3, they were stunned as well. Especially when they saw Zhao Tai and Shi Shang.
NPCs?
The archer blurted it out.
Zhao Tai frowned. Who are you talking about?
That player was startled.
They can answer?
The short sword player beside him immediately pulled him back.
Do not talk nonsense.
They might be citizens brought by a lord player.
Their gazes immediately fell on Lin Yao. You are a lord?
Lin Yao did not deny it.
Yes. Their eyes became a little strange.
Now that the lord ranking had just opened, lord players were extremely hot topics.
But most ordinary lords were still struggling bitterly. There were not many who could bring 2 NPCs out with them.
The short sword player probed, "Brother, where is your territory?"
Lin Yao answered calmly, "Not far."
Which was the same as not answering. The short sword player also knew his question had been rude, so he smiled.
We accepted a Yellow Turban bandit mission and are preparing to go to Broken Temple Village. Are you going there too?
Lin Yao's gaze moved slightly.
You are also going to Broken Temple Village?
Yes, the archer said.
I heard there is a limited-time mission there. The rewards are pretty good, and it might open Three Kingdoms faction reputation. Lin Yao's heart sank. The Broken Temple Village mission was not exclusive to Chen Hao's team.
Other players had also accepted it.
That meant the situation was more complicated.
The more players there were, the more variables there would be. Some wanted to save the village.
Some only wanted rewards. Some might sacrifice NPCs for mission benefits. Some might even join the Yellow Turban remnant faction.
After all, game missions did not necessarily have only one solution.
The short sword player took the initiative and said, "Want to travel together? It will be safer on the road."
Zhao Tai looked at Lin Yao.
Shi Shang quietly turned his head as well.
Lin Yao thought for a moment, then nodded.
All right. He needed more information.
This player team could provide it.
On the road, Lin Yao learned their names.
The short sword player was Lu Zian.
The archer was Mo Yuan.
The other silent swordsman was Han Chuan. The female player was Su Mian, and she followed a herbalist support route. They were all hero players who had spawned at the Three Kingdoms border camp. According to Lu Zian, the camp had issued a batch of missions yesterday. Among them, Broken Temple Village was one of the higher difficulty ones. The mission description said that Yellow Turban remnants had appeared near Broken Temple Village, and players could go provide support. But after they accepted the mission, they discovered that Broken Temple Village was farther from the camp than they had imagined, and there were quite a few small monsters around it.
Lin Yao asked, "How strong are the Yellow Turban remnants?" Lu Zian's face grew more serious. Stronger than ordinary bandits.
They coordinate with each other, and they use talisman water. Zhao Tai was puzzled.
Talisman water? Su Mian answered, a kind of buff or healing method. Last night, we ran into a small group of Yellow Turban remnants. We were about to win, but then the other side drank a bowl of yellow talisman water, and their strength and speed both increased by a lot. Lin Yao's gaze moved slightly. Typing Dao fragment scroll. Talisman water. Public sentiment and faith system.
These clues were gradually linking together.
He asked, "Are there any special NPCs in Broken Temple Village?" Lu Zian thought about it.
"I heard there is an old physician."
Su Mian nodded.
The mission introduction mentioned him. Broken Temple Village has managed to hold until now because there is an old man in the village who understands herbs and talisman water. Lin Yao was basically certain.
That old physician was the key NPC. He had to be kept alive. The group continued forward.
The closer they got to Broken Temple Village, the clearer the traces along the road became.
Burned grass sheds. Overturned wooden carts.
And corpses by the roadside that had not been buried. Some of those corpses were NPCs. Some were players.
The atmosphere gradually grew heavy. Mo Yuan had originally talked a lot, but now he became much quieter.
Zhao Tai looked at a corpse by the roadside with yellow cloth wrapped around its head and said in a low voice, "So this is Yellow Turban?" Cao Mu was not here, so no one could answer him.
But through civilization analysis, Lin Yao saw the information.
Corpse of a Yellow Turban remnant.
Identity, low-level Yellow Turban believer. State, dead. Residual aura, Typing Dao talisman water, chaotic public resentment, low-level faith pollution. Faith pollution.
Those two words made Lin Yao frown.
Typing Dao was not only medical care and public sentiment.
It might also have a side of pollution and fanaticism. This side story was probably not a simple matter of good villagers against bad Yellow Turbans.
Why were the Yellow Turban remnants attacking Broken Temple Village? What was the relationship between the old physician and the Typing Dao fragment scroll? None of that was clear yet. In the afternoon, they finally saw Broken Temple Village.
It was a small village built below a low slope. Outside the village stood a crude wooden fence, clearly reinforced in a hurry. Several thatched houses had been half-burned.
At the village entrance stood several players and young NPC men. Chen Hao was among them.
When he saw Lin Yao, he froze first, then was overjoyed.
Lin Yao. He ran over quickly. You really came.
Lin Yao looked him over. Chen Hao was stained with blood and held a long blade with a chipped edge.
He looked utterly miserable. But his spirit seemed all right. Lin Yao asked, "How is the situation?"
The joy on Chen Hao's face quickly disappeared.
Not good. The Yellow Turban remnants will come tonight.
There are about 15 players total, but everyone has different ideas. There are 36 villagers, and only 8 who can fight. The most troublesome thing is... He lowered his voice. Someone suggested abandoning the villagers and only protecting the old physician.
Lin Yao's gaze turned cold. Who? Chen Hao looked into the village. A guild team.
They say the key to the mission is the old physician, not the whole village. Lin Yao looked toward Broken Temple Village. Inside the village, there were old people, women, and children. He suddenly realized that the true difficulty of this mission might not be only the Yellow Turban remnants.
It was human hearts.
The hearts of players. Broken Temple Village was in worse condition than Lin Yao had imagined. The wooden fence at the village entrance was not a formal defensive line. It had been cobbled together from dismantled door planks, wooden carts, and broken beams.
Some sections were tied together with hemp rope.
A slightly stronger impact might knock them apart. Outside the wooden fence, dried blood still stained the ground. Inside the village, the smell of herbs, ash, and blood mixed together in the air. Several children hid under a half-collapsed eave, looking at the players entering the village with terrified eyes. They did not look like NPCs in a game waiting to be saved. They looked more like people who truly did not know whether they would survive tonight. The first time Lin Yao saw them, he understood why Chen Hao had not simply abandoned the mission. Because they were too real. So real that it was impossible to treat them as nothing but a string of mission data. Chen Hao led Lin Yao into the village while explaining the situation in a low voice. There are 17 players in the village right now. 6 of us were the first ones to accept the mission and enter. A few more teams came later, one after another. Most people are fairly normal, but one guild team is troublesome. They think the key point of this mission is the old physician. As long as they take the old physician away, it counts as completion. Lin Yao asked, "How is the mission objective written?" Chen Hao opened his mission panel and shared it with Lin Yao. 3 Kingdoms Borderside Mission, Broken Temple Village Request for Aid. Mission description: the Yellow Turban remnants will attack Broken Temple Village tonight. Please assist the villagers in resisting the attack. Basic objective: protect old physician Guan and ensure his survival. Advanced objective: protect more than 50% of Broken Temple Village's villagers. Hidden objective: investigate the reason the Yellow Turban remnants are attacking the village. Mission rewards will be settled based on completion. After Lin Yao finished reading, he immediately understood the problem. The basic objective only required the old physician to survive. So for some players who only looked at rewards, taking the old physician away was the lowest cost option. But the advanced objective required protecting the villagers. The hidden objective also required finding out the reason behind the attack. In other words, this mission appeared to offer players a guaranteed way to clear it, but the truly high-value rewards were certainly hidden in the latter 2 objectives. Lin Yao asked, "Where is the old physician?" Chen Hao pointed toward a broken temple in the center of the village. Inside. Broken Temple Village had its name because there was an abandoned small temple in the village center. The temple was not large. One corner of its roof had collapsed, and only half of the deity statue remained on the offering table. But right now, the broken temple was packed with wounded. An old man with gray-white hair was treating the injured. He was thin and wore a washed-out gray robe. His hands were covered in herbal juice. Beside him, a girl of 16 or 17 helped pass medicine. Chen Hao said quietly, "That is Guan." Lin Yao walked into the broken temple. A stronger smell of herbs rushed at him. Guan did not immediately pay attention to him. Instead, he first bandaged the leg wound of an injured man before raising his head to look at them. "More outsiders have come?" Chen Hao said, "Old Gu, this is my friend, Lin Yao." Guan's gaze paused on Lin Yao for an instant, then shifted to Zhao Tai and Sheng behind him. "You are not an ordinary wandering hero." Lin Yao was not surprised. These special NPCs were often sharper than ordinary players. "I am a lord." Guan's eyes moved slightly. No wonder. He put down the medicine jar and slowly stood. A lord is willing to leave his own territory to save a village that does not belong to him? Lin Yao said calmly, "I did not come only to save the village." Guan looked at him. Lin Yao continued, "I came to save people, and also to find out why the Yellow Turban remnants insist on attacking this place." Guan was silent for a moment. At last, his eyes became a little more serious. "You want to investigate the truth? If we only take you away, tonight will be easy." Guan gave a bitter smile. "Easy?" At that moment, arguing voices came from outside the broken temple. "Old Gu, this is not the time to be stubborn. The Yellow Turban remnants are coming tonight. This village cannot be defended. Come with us. We guarantee we will escort you safely to the border camp." Lin Yao turned his head. Several players walked into the broken temple. The leader was a young man in leather armor. 4 players followed behind him. Their equipment was clearly a level better than the other players. Leather armor, iron swords, small round shields, short bows. For new players at this stage, it already counted as fine equipment. Chen Hao said in a low voice, "His name is Su Chong. He is a squad leader from the Black Eagle Guild." After Su Chong entered, his gaze first swept across Lin Yao's group. When he saw Zhao Tai and Shang, surprise flashed in his eyes. But he quickly looked back at Guan. "Old Gu, if you keep delaying, everyone will die." Guan said heavily, "If I leave, what happens to the people of Broken Temple Village?" Su Chong frowned. "They cannot hold." "Then help them hold." Su Chong looked as if he had heard a joke. "With what?" He pointed outside. "With those few broken wooden boards? With a few villagers holding hoes? Or with those casual players who cannot even beat Yellow Turban soldiers?" The broken temple went silent. Several villagers lowered their heads. His words were unpleasant. But they were not entirely unreasonable. Su Chong continued, "The core of the mission is you. As long as you survive, at least the mission will not fail completely. If you insist on staying here, once the Yellow Turban remnants break in, no one will be able to leave." Chen Hao could not help saying, "The mission also has an advanced objective. We have to protect the villagers." Su Chong glanced at him. "Advanced objectives depend on whether they can be done. Forcing an objective that cannot be done is just suicide." After speaking, he looked at Lin Yao. "You are new here?" Lin Yao nodded. "Yes." Su Chong asked, "Are you also here to save old Gu?" Lin Yao answered, "I am here to complete the entire mission." Su Chong raised an eyebrow. "The entire mission? Basic objective, advanced objective, hidden objective." The broken temple became even quieter. Su Chong stared at Lin Yao for several seconds, then suddenly laughed. "Do you know how many Yellow Turban remnants there are?" "I do not." "At least 50. Lin Yao's gaze shifted slightly. 50. With Broken Temple Village's current combat power, defending head-on would indeed be difficult. Su Chong continued, "Among them is also a Yellow Turban libationer who can use talisman water. We have a dozen or so players, more than 30 villagers, fewer than 10 who can fight. What are you going to use to complete the whole mission?" Lin Yao was not angered by him. He only asked, "Why are the Yellow Turban remnants attacking tonight?" Su Chong froze. "What?" Lin Yao looked toward Guan. "If they truly have 50 people, and Broken Temple Village's defensive line is this weak, they could have broken in yesterday. Why delay until tonight?" Guan's eyes changed. Su Chong frowned. "Maybe they were gathering." Lin Yao said, "Or maybe they were waiting for some condition." He walked to the offering table in the broken temple and looked at the deity statue of which only half remained. It was no longer possible to tell who the statue had once worshipped. But beside the base of the statue, there were ashes left by burned yellow talisman papers. Civilization analysis appeared. Damaged village temple. Surface state, abandoned temple. Hidden information, once used as a temporary typing Dao medicine distribution point. Residual aura, talisman water, public wishes, epidemic aura, faith pollution. Abnormal hint, an incompletely destroyed typing Dao fragment page is hidden beneath the temple. Lin Yao's heart moved. There was something under the broken temple. He did not immediately say it. Instead, he asked Guan, "What was this temple used for in the past?" Guan's expression changed slightly. Su Chong also turned to look at Guan. Guan was silent for a moment. Finally, he sighed.
Many years ago, an epidemic broke out here.
A group of Taiping Dao people passed through and once distributed medicine in the temple to save people. Later, when the Yellow Turban chaos began, the imperial army suppressed the Taiping Dao, and this temple was sealed.
Lin Yao asked, so the Yellow Turban remnants are not simply robbing the village? Guan did not answer. But his silence already explained enough.
Lin Yao continued, they are looking for something.
Su Chang's expression finally changed. If it was only escorting the old physician, the mission's value was limited. But if Broken Temple Village hid a Taiping Dao relic, the situation was entirely different.
Lin Yao looked at Guan.
Is that thing still here? Guan said in a low voice, you should not ask.
Lin Yao said, the Yellow Turban remnants are coming tonight because of that thing. If you do not speak, we will not know their true target, and we can only passively take the beating. Everyone in the Broken Temple looked at Guan. After a long time, Guan finally spoke slowly.
What they want is a fragment page. A Taiping Dao fragment scroll? Lin Yao asked. Guan suddenly raised his head. You know? Lin Yao did not answer.
He had only confirmed his judgment. A system prompt appeared. Hidden objective progress updated. You have discovered one reason the Yellow Turban remnants are attacking the village, the Taiping Dao fragment scroll.
Please continue confirming the fragment scroll's location and the Yellow Turban remnants' true purpose. Su Chang's eyes became heated.
Where is the fragment scroll? Guan looked at him, and more vigilance appeared in his eyes. Lin Yao also glanced at Su Chong. This was the trouble that came when the number of players increased. The moment a treasure appeared, some people no longer wanted only to complete the mission. Su Chong also realized that he had been too eager, so he immediately restrained himself. What I mean is, if the fragment scroll is the key, we should move it in advance.
Lin Yao said flatly, move it where? Su Chong did not answer.
Lin Yao continued, if the Yellow Turban remnants are coming for the fragment scroll, then whoever carries it away becomes the new target. Being chased on the wasteland road tonight would be more dangerous than defending the village.
Su Chong frowned.
He clearly wanted to argue, but this time he could not find a suitable reason. Guan looked at Lin Yao, and a trace of true trust finally appeared in his eyes.
You are right.
He walked behind the offering table and pressed a loose stone slab.
Click.
A small hidden compartment opened beneath the offering table.
Guan took out an oilcloth bundle. He unfolded the oilcloth.
Inside was a yellowed fragment of paper.
The fragment was covered in talisman markings and dense ancient characters.
Lin Yao looked at the paper.
Taiping Dao Fragment Scroll 1. Contents: Talisman Water, Epidemic Treatment, Gathering the People, Wish Power. State: incomplete. Risk: if eroded by polluted faith, it may transform into fanatical talisman arts. Value: can unlock beginner research in the public sentiment and faith system. It was exactly what he needed.
But Lin Yao did not reach out.
Because this item did not currently belong to him.
Guan wrapped the fragment scroll again in the oilcloth and said quietly, this one page of the fragment scroll has saved many people in Broken Temple Village.
And it has also killed many people. Lin Yao asked, what do you mean? Guan looked toward the outside of the village. The libationer among the Yellow Turban remnants was once my junior fellow disciple.
Inside the Broken Temple, everyone's expression changed.
Chen Hao subconsciously said, your junior fellow disciple? Guan nodded.
His name is Zhang Heng.
Back then, we both studied Taiping Dao medicine. I only wanted to use talisman water to save people.
But he believed that in chaotic times, only by making the people believe in the same voice could they survive.
Lin Yao frowned. So he wants the fragment scroll to save people? Guan smiled bitterly. perhaps in the beginning. But not now. He has already turned talisman water into something that controls people. Lin Yao's mission panel updated again. Hidden objective progress updated. Yellow Turban libationer Zhang Heng was once Guan's junior fellow disciple. Zhang Heng intends to seize the Taiping Dao fragment scroll and complete fanatical talisman water. If Zhang Heng obtains the fragment scroll, fanatical Yellow Turban forces will appear around Broken Temple Village. Lin Yao finally understood completely. This mission was not simple defense.
Nor was it simply protecting the old physician. The true core was this.
The Taiping Dao fragment scroll could not fall into Zhang Heng's hands.
Broken Temple Village could not be slaughtered.
Guan could not die. If it was done well, Obsidian Village could obtain the orthodox Taiping Dao inheritance of medical care and public sentiment.
If it failed, this region might gain a Yellow Turban force polluted by fanaticism. Lin Yao looked at Su Chong.
Do you still think taking old Gu away is enough?
Su Chong's face did not look good. He was silent for several seconds, then said, "If all of this is true, then defending the village is indeed more valuable.
But the problem is the same. How do we defend it?"
Lin Yao walked out of the Broken Temple and looked at the terrain outside the village. Broken Temple Village was open on 3 sides.
The front faced a wasteland road.
On the west side was a low patch of woods.
On the east side was a dry ditch.
Behind the village was a small slope, but the slope was not high enough to fully serve as a barrier. The defensive line was poor. But it was not impossible to defend.
Lin Yao turned and asked Chen Hao, "How were you defending before?" Chen Hao said awkwardly, "Players split into a few directions and fought.
The villagers helped from behind."
Lin Yao rubbed his brow. Typical hero player thinking. Everyone fighting on their own. Good enough for small monsters. Useless for defending a village.
He walked to the village entrance, picked up a branch, and drew a simple defense map on the ground.
We cannot defend all 3 sides. There are not enough people. Su Chong asked, "Then where do we defend?" Lin Yao pointed to the wasteland road in front. "Open the front." Everyone froze. Su Chong frowned. "What did you say?" "There are many Yellow Turban remnants. If we block the front directly, the wooden fence will be smashed apart very quickly." Lin Yao drew 2 lines.
"We pull the front defensive line back and give up the first section of road at the village entrance. Use firewood piles and wooden carts on both sides to form a narrow lane. Let them enter, but do not let them all enter at once."
Su Chang's eyes changed. "Lure them in?" "Right." Lin Yao pointed toward the dry ditch.
"The eastern dry ditch can hide archers and stone throwers. The western woods cannot be left empty, or they will circle behind us, so a small number of mobile players need to watch it.
The villagers are not responsible for frontline melee fighting.
They are responsible for carrying supplies, putting out fires, treating wounds, and repairing the wooden fence."
All players split into 3 groups. Front Interception Group. Flank Harassment Group. Broken Temple Protection Group. Chen Hao's eyes brightened as he listened.
He was far too familiar with this state of Lin Yao's. Back in Obsidian Village, Lin Yao had done exactly this, turning chaos into order bit by bit.
Su Chong did not oppose immediately.
Because he could hear that this plan was far better than their previous scattered defense. But he still did not want to hand over command.
"The plan is fine, but who commands?"
Chen Hao immediately said, "Lin Yao, of course."
Su Chong sneered. "On what basis?"
Lin Yao looked at him and had not yet spoken when a burst of urgent bell ringing came from outside the village. A player in charge of sentry duty ran back from beyond the wooden fence.
"The Yellow Turban remnants are moving."
They are less than 3 li from the village.
Broken Temple Village instantly fell into chaos. Su Chang's face darkened. Lin Yao looked at everyone. Do we still have time to argue? No one answered. Lin Yao directly gave the order.
Everyone willing to defend the village, move to the positions I just described.
Those unwilling may take old Gu and leave. He looked at Guan. But I believe old Gu will not leave. Guan tucked the typing Dao fragment scroll into his robe and slowly nodded.
This old man will remain here. Chen Hao was the first to stand beside Lin Yao.
I listen to you.
Zhao Tai carried the blade Gao Mu had lent him and grinned.
My lord knows a thing or two about defensive fights.
Shi Sheng said nothing. He only stood just behind Lin Yao's side. Lu Ziyan, Mo Yuan, Su Mian, and Han Chuan exchanged a glance, then nodded as well.
We will follow command. Su Chang's expression shifted between dark and light. At last, he clenched his teeth. Fine. But if your plan does not work, I will immediately take old Gu away.
Lin Yao did not waste time responding. He looked at the people of Broken Temple Village, his voice steady.
Everyone, move. Tonight, you are not defending a village. You are defending your own lives.